before yesterday on my show on ABC, we are all under indictment. This is not only the indictment of our three comrades, it's also an indictment of the entire Federal Republic of Amazonia. It's an indictment of not only those of us who are alive today, but those who are already dead. That indictment is also telling our progenitors that they did wrong to actually bring us to earth. That indictment also tells us that we are not a people. But you know what? On the contrary, the Southern Cameroons belong to its people. And I'm very happy to be here with you today. And I really hope we have a good draft. Like Director Paddy said on the show today, no one is blaming the local government areas and the counties for some stalemates that have happened in the revolution. I think they have collectively done a good job. However, when I had a meeting with all the county chairs, they themselves understood and agreed with me that we can do better. There is nothing wrong in shifting gear and changing strategies. La Republique has changed strategy over 15 times. The current one is to send a special force into Tunja and Bui to annihilate our boys and girls fighting over there. So we cannot afford to stay on the same spot and not change strategies to meet this beast head on. So I wish everyone would just relax and do the best you can, the best you can. And it's going to be a recurring thing. It's not over. We're going to keep fighting. We know the 90-year-old dictator is probably on his way to the United States. I hope when he gets here, he's arrested for killing 50,000 of our people and just displacing over 50,000 more, 100,000 more refugees all over the world. The United States is not a rule country. I believe in this system. I've been here for a time, and most of you have too. I truly believe that somewhere in this justice system, justice will be given to Amazonia. I believe that we are going to win this case. I want everyone to keep fighting and just maintain a high spirit. And always tell the next person next to you never to give up. Because we started this thing 5 years ago. All of us have sacrificed enormously. We are not letting go. We will have our country back. At least that's my prayer. And I believe in that. So without much ado, I would like to introduce the President of the Federal Republic of Amazonia, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako. Mr. President, the floor is yours, sir.
Please, Mr. President, check your device kindly, please. Check your device.
Thank you, VP. Okay.
Director Paddy, can you also the President of the House?
Please.
Director Paddy, are you here?
Well, he is. He was testing equipment earlier.
Okay, please.
Yeah, Mr. President. Yeah, I wanted you to push your device a little bit in front. Like you do all the time for me to see the table.
The President of the Federal Republic of Amazonia, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, addresses the nation in a moment. Stay tuned. The President of the Federal Republic of Amazonia, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, addresses the nation in a moment. Stay tuned. The President of the Federal Republic of Amazonia, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, addresses the nation in a moment. Stay tuned.
My dear Amazonians, let me begin by acknowledging my hard-working Vice President, Dear Amazonians, let me begin by acknowledging my hardworking Vice President, the patriot of the struggle, Mr. Eric Ate, the Speaker of the Interim House of Representatives, the Right Honorable Dr. Winnie Lobati, Ms. Dorothy Ngwa, Chair Lady of the Ethics Committee, and Barrister Mbesa Timothy, Chairman of the Judicial Council, and all my Secretaries of State here present, all members of government from all levels and tiers of the IG. Thank you for coming. Dear chairs of counties and LGS, fellow Amazonians, I thank you all for honoring our invitation to this special draft, the federal draft, after the recess following the marathon nationwide county by county draft. Your presence here tonight shows your readiness to show up when duty calls, especially in turbulent times like this in our liberation war. We are gathered here to show our oneness and defiance in the face of challenges and to reassure our people, especially our Amazonia Restoration Forces, the ARFs, defending our vulnerable population, facing the wrath of La République du Cameroon's genocide or genocidal talks in the home front. For the more than 50,000 compatriots killed, some burned alive, some gunned down in their sleep, thousands shot at point-blank range while going about their daily activities, and for our valiant ARFs who fell in the line of fire in defense of homeland, we honor you all. A minute of silence, please. May the revolutionary path you, our heroes and heroines, watered with your precious blood, continuously spur us never to relent until we liberate our homeland. Fellow warriors, there comes a season when we must be strategic, demonstrate greater mastery of our art as revolutionaries. Having prosecuted this devoir collectively for more than 5 years, we have gleaned many a lesson not only from the weaknesses of our enemy, but also from our own shortcomings as a movement. We have had to progressively evaluate our methodologies, our strategies, our structures, and our operations in terms of our strengths and opportunities. This was necessary because of the ever-changing landscape of our liberation war. Our core enemy, La République du Cameroon, has now doubled down on a strategy of viciously targeting our people at home and our support structures outside. They are aided by anti-revolutionaries amongst us, one Cameroon traders, and some hired Ambazonian Confucianists bankrolled by the CPDM Esingan Mafia. These agents of La République have made our task more challenging. We are using one hand to fend them off. These internal saboteurs have chosen to crash the same plane we are all in, claiming they are fighting against one Dr. Sako. We are using the other hand, though, to fight and win our existential war against all external criminal forces of La République who are steadily mauling down our people with impunity. This is weighing down on our counties and LGAs alone without the direct support of the central government. We want to play a more direct role in terms of resource mobilization and management for a more efficient and robust coordination of operations on the home front. We are also hoping to drive in more resources into the struggle and revitalize communication, fund targeted diplomacy, and carry on with the judicial prosecution of the La République du Cameroon criminal regime around the world. Dear compatriots, let me use this opportunity to appreciate those that have chipped in to the Legal Defense Fund for our compatriots who have been indicted in the US. The all for one for all mantra, which has been our rallying chant from the beginning of this struggle, is now tested in the courts of the United States by some who are determined to mischaracterize our liberation quest as a criminal enterprise. The enemy, La République du Cameroon genocidal apologists and songbirds, have taken vuvuzelas to pronounce verdicts on corrupt media towers in Yaoundé, even when the trial of our comrades have not yet started, true to the nature of their very ill-conceived legal system, which presumes everyone guilty until proven otherwise. Rest assured, friends and relatives of our indicted comrades, that under my leadership, we are keeping no stone unturned legally to make sure your loved ones, our brave compatriots, are vindicated in the American courts of law, which is light years away from the kangaroo courts our people have been subjected to by our colonial annexationist, genocidal, dictatorial regime of La République du Cameroon since 1961. My fellow comrades, in every disappointment, there is an appointment. The verdict from this lawsuit on our comrades may just be the appointment of destiny we have been longing for to further legitimize and publicize our liberation cause that will exact justice to these 21st century genocide perpetrators hiding in Yaoundé. This is an opportunity for us to expose the horrendous atrocity crimes that the evil genocidal regime of ailing nonagenarian dictator Paul Biya has been committing on our people. This war criminal has held us in a chokehold for 40 years out of the 61 years of brutal annexation and colonization. All this will be brought to light on an arena of utmost influence, the US court and public. A Pandora box has been opened, and the cankerworm of extreme evil that has escaped the scrutiny of justice will be exposed for the world to see. I hope the US court in its judgment will also urge the US government to call for a fact-finding mission to Southern Cameroon and Amazonia in order to ascertain the true perpetrators and enablers of war crimes in the Southern Cameroon and Amazonia. In a couple of days, President Joe Biden of the United States of America will be hosting leaders from Africa during the US-Africa Leaders Summit, scheduled from the 13th to the 15th of December 2022. Among those invited is the 90-year-old bloodthirsty dictator of the Republic of Cameroon, Paul Biya, who has ruled his country, French Cameroon, for 40 years with gross abuses of human rights, and he is responsible for the gruesome 6-year-old genocide on the people of the Southern Cameroon, Amazonia, since 2017. Just imagining that Paul Biya will be in the White House among civilized leaders gives me nightmares, to say the least. Fellow Ambazonians, some people called us to get our position on the need for another protest march in Washington, D.C. to coincide with Biya's meeting at the White House. As a soldier, you are like a farmer. You chose when and where to plant profitably. We also know that the world is not ruled by sympathy. It is governed by interest. We therefore must play by the rules, not by our rules. I don't think we cannot go out for another protest march at this time. I don't think so. I think, however, that recycling our unfruitful protest marches of 2017 and 2018 cannot be our winning strategy at this time. We should opt for a smarter way to invest our time and resources. Besides, La République du Cameroon has a vibrant Biya Must Go brigade in the diaspora called BAS, headed by the La République citizens. Let them go to DC and show their hate and rejection of their monster of a president. Then green, red, yellow Ambazonians may also go and join them. We of the third option have another fight. It is not against Biya, because we are not fighting for regime change in La République. Our fight is for the recognition of the Southern Cameroon and Amazonia. America is free to recognize La République, but they should also recognize the Southern Cameroon and Amazonia. That is our fight at the IG. To deny us recognition, the enemy is trying to cast Amazonia as a criminal enterprise and not as a genuine liberation movement. The Esingan Kabar has engineered the indictment and arrest of 3 of our compatriots in the US, trying to steal a judgment from the court against Amazonia in favor of La République, then use it to sway America and the international opinion against Amazonia. The fight is on in the court in Kansas City and Minneapolis as we speak. That is where we should show up in our numbers, if at all, not in DC. Qualitative legal defense requires huge sums of money. For example, it costed us $14,000 to respond to charges brought against the former dismissed Secretary of State for Communication, Chris Ano, in California. This time we have 3 comrades to defend through trial. And all I hear is, let's go and march in Washington, as if the State Department or Congress will then call the courts and ask them to free our people in response to a march in one street corner of Washington, D.C. Sometimes in our desperation, we want to be seen to be doing something, even when we know it amounts to doing nothing. Some people, out of sheer destitution, want a share of what they perceive as the spotlight. through some mere positioning, while real actors like the interim government get the spotlight not by parading a lie, but by doing what it takes to force the spotlight on us by way of our success. Here is my take on the issue of beer in the White House, amongst other African heads of state. If Biya, who only yesterday refused to receive many diplomats on the issue of Amazonia, suddenly can fly to DC to attend President Biden's invitation, why don't we rather insist on telling President Biden what he must tell Biya? Yes, the security in Washington, D.C. will be tighter. You will not be allowed anywhere near the White House. A demonstration limited to one street corner in Washington, D.C., based on a non-local issue like Amazonia, with no significant press coverage, will be at best a meet and greet exercise with no impact on what Biden tells or does not tell Biya. Instead, we can and should use this occasion to call our senators and congressmen, political influencers, to communicate their disapproval of the presence of the world's #1 genocidaire in the White House. It is time we mobilize Amazonian Americans who are registered Democrats to reach out to the Democratic Party's power brokers to ask President Biden, to rebuke Biya and go on Twitter and tell the powers that be that our votes as Amazonian Americans also count in America, and advise President Biden's administration to use this occasion to tell Paul Biya what the French will not tell him. We must stop making noise on street corners, recycling failed strategies. It is time we constitute ourselves into a 50+ thousand strong active voting bloc in America, consequential in local politics, and our demonstrations will be able to sway political power. For now, we must leverage what we have handy, what we have, and it is free. And that is all elected congressmen and women in our various states who are moved by interest in our cause to help us push the political establishment in Washington towards a more positive choice for Amazonia. I learned a lesson from one world champion who said, "When I was young, I fought for nothing on the street. Now I fight for a crown in the ring. I don't fight and go back to my house with sores, empty-handed." Dear Biden administration, our beloved Democratic Party, we the people of the Southern Cameroons and Amazonia are very disappointed with your choice of guests to the White House in the person of dictator Paul Biya. Paul Biya is one of the worst dictators in the world today. The White House should not have spent a dime of our taxpayers' income on Paul Biya. He does not deserve a free meal ticket in the White House. He has the blood of 40,000 plus innocent Southern Cameroonian citizens under his sleeves. Biya is a monster of a higher order than other leaders America will not receive in the White House today. Biya is worse than Kim Jong-un. Biya is worse than Saddam Hussein. Biya is worse than Idi Amin. Biya is worse than Ayatollah Khomeini. Biya is worse than Fidel Castro. Biya is the Adolf Hitler of Africa, and he is far worse than Vladimir Putin. If America should receive Biya and count him among the friends of America at this time, then America will have to apologize to a lot of leaders, past and present, who do not measure up to the size of Biya's depravity. Dear ARFs, don't be afraid of those who can kill you but cannot kill Amazonia. If death was a currency, all of us would be considered rich in death. We are all full of death in our accounts. Those who are hired to kill others are idiots. They think they will, by so doing, postpone their own D-Day. No. If you know you will eventually go to prison, this is my advice. Why are you building ugly prisons? Just because you want to punish your worst enemies? But know that when your time comes, that is where you will go to. Your death will be more painful and miserable thereafter. I have come to tell you, fear not. Ambazonia is our country. It is ours to win. Nothing, no one can take it from us, not even death. Let's win this war, whether on our feet, or in our graves. Don't give up, General, Colonel, Captain, Foot Soldier. Don't give up, ARFs. Our hope is in you. Your enemies are many, but our victory is sure. When you wake up in the morning and you realize there is still breath in your nostril, it means you have more hills to climb, more rivers to cross, and some ekelebes to take out. Let us reduce their numbers by one every day until victory comes. The only day you have as a soldier is today. Fight as if there is no tomorrow. The number one law of self-defense is kill your enemy before he kills you. Your enemy is anyone who wants to kill you. I call on all Ambazonians to join the resistance actively today. I apologize for any wrong done to you, Ambazonians, by a genuine fighter. The pain afflicted on you by a so-called fighter could be a mistake. But what La Republique has done to you, has done to us for 61 years, is not a mistake. Don't turn against the struggle. Join us to take out these Ekelebes. We Ambazonians are all on the death row in La Republique. We cannot be deceived by the smile of our executioner to think our killers are now our friends. Henceforth, the ANSC has decided to reward every brigade that takes out a La Republique soldier or a military vehicle. The draft today is going to empower ground operations. We are going to sponsor strategic federal projects across the territory. We have to fund our Department of Special Operations and increase our subsidies to our hot zones. We want to better coordinate our ARF operations nationally in a manner that will expedite support to our front lines without bottlenecks. Our days ahead, having put behind us the distractions of spoilers and coopers, our days are brighter. Our diplomatic strides for recognition will intensify. The Swiss talks and all other mediated talks are still the only viable solutions left after the collapse of the Grand National Dialogue Canada edition. Let's give now and help the federal government to effectively plan and coordinate strategic special operations to boost self-defense in our counties from today. Long live our ARFs. Viva the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, and God bless our beautiful country. Ambazonia is under us, under Ambazonians.
Paddy, play the anthem now. If you want to play the anthem, this is the time to play it.
Ma, don't you think he's having technical problems? He's having technical problems. I don't think Paddy can leave this thing like this. Let us just, give him chance to fix things.
Ambazonia, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pacification of the world.
Invited the United States or invited anywhere. Ambazonia
Amazonia is free.
Joe Biden listen.
You're free.
Nation of the world.
Amazonia will be free. Whether the Republic is invited you or not, all of us are prisoners. They will prove whether the Brazilian belong to us or to the Republic. Let them show the Treaty of Union.
Okay, right. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ambazonians. Thank you for applauding our president. We've got the message, and we hope that the international community is also listening and they'll get the message.
Yes, let the FBI listen. Let them show the Treaty of Union between us and the Republic.
Yeah. So, in the meantime, those of us who are here, we continue the fighting. We continue to fight the fighting. We would carry on.
Nijo, please unmute and proceed with the draft. Nijo, you're welcome.
Yeah, got it, VP. Thank you very much. Thank you. Mabry, you're welcome formally. Did you want to say hello to Ambazonians and then take up your role as coordinator, and then we would agree? As mentioned earlier, we have two baskets. The baskets for the hero, the wounded, our wounded hero